Hey guys, what's up? It's Daniel again from DashClicks, and we're coming back at you with a super cool episode again. I got Franco Rubias with me again. Franco was on a podcast, I don't know, a week or two ago,
Yeah.
something like that. And I was so excited and impressed. I was like, dude, can you come back and we can do a workshop together? You can like teach us how to do some amazing stuff, like close an entire room with a 95% close rate. that was still insane that you did that.
Yeah.
But
Funny thing is that all of them came from exactly what we're going to teach you today.
it's nuts. I'm super stoked. I'm expecting like at the end of this, I can just like pull clients out of my pocket at any time.
That's what I've done over the last 5 years, man. So it might take a little bit of practice, a little bit of honing and stuff like that, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, the system, you're going to get the system.
So my understanding, I heard from Bird that you're going to teach us how to get clients on demand using organic marketing on Facebook,
That's
which
exactly.
is which is sort of unique because I feel like that's more prevalent on like LinkedIn, because LinkedIn automations seem to be more. There seem to be like a ton of
Yeah.
options for automation and stuff.
Yeah, I think that's why it works so well on Facebook is because when you go onto LinkedIn, you know you're going for business and you know everyone's going to DM you, right? Just because you exist. They're going to DM you and you're going to start to make a whole bunch of connections and stuff like that, right? Which is
Yeah.
the end goal of LinkedIn. That's like what the platform was created for. Facebook, not so much. Facebook is friends and family and just keeping in, touch with the people that you know and respect and admire and stuff. And then when you add an element of business to it, it is just like you're getting into into business with someone that you again respect and admire, and you're in business with friends, right? So it's a different perception that people get. You know what I mean? Like when you're doing
Uh,
what we're going to teach you in
so
Facebook.
do you mean like because we'll just add to your point, like, so like LinkedIn's a bit more like people are on there knowing kind of they're going to, they're susceptible to being prospected, and
Exactly.
they're kind of open for that. But Facebook's not necessarily about that. You kind of have to build your relationship first and then.
I think it helps. No, I think it helps you actually. What I'm saying is like, it seems so saturated on LinkedIn and everybody expects it. And so because of that, it doesn't carry as much weight as it does on Facebook when someone, either DMs you or you get into contact or you're watching their content or anything like that, right? Because it feels more natural, like you're hanging out at a barbecue, as opposed to a business event,
I
business
remember you
networking
mentioned that.
event.
I remember you mentioned
Yeah.
that. So like, is that, does that kind of imply that Facebook sort of, I know a lot of people use Facebook for like prospect. I mean, I did that before, but like,
Yep.
do you think it's just underutilized? Like there's still a lot of opportunity?
Oh my gosh, there's a ton of opportunity, absolutely, and I think personally it's only going to continue to grow. You see people like the weird thing. Now this is getting into a different like rabbit hole here and stuff like that, right? But
Well, yeah,
uh,
we'll keep it.
people have right. It depends on the inputs that you receive, right? So if you turn on the news and all you're seeing all day long is war, economy is dropping and all these different things, right? Then
Yeah.
you're going to feel like the whole world is crumbling down, right? And so when you're in the world of digital marketing or coaching or something like that, right, and you hear DMs, it's because so many inputs. But the reality is that as a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a percent of people on Facebook that think that way or even know about organic marketing, the things that we're going to teach you today.
That's an interesting way to put it. Well,
Yeah.
dude, I'm excited to like jump into this
Yeah, for
because
sure.
again, like I feel like a lot of people are pretty affluent with like LinkedIn and
Hmm.
doing this type of method, organic marketing through there, because like everyone's on there to like get sold, I guess. But so I'm really curious. I'm really just excited to like see what tricks you have up your sleeve on Facebook, because I feel like Facebook's a rabbit hole for me. Like I just get so stuck on it. I'm like, what else can I do besides just manually sending
Yeah.
people messages randomly, you know?
Yeah.
So, dude, I'm
Yeah. There's a system.
yeah. I mean, what else? I'm just like, I don't know what else to do besides just friend requesting random people and then manually
Yeah.
like,
So, well,
hey, bro.
Well, here's the thing, right? So if you do that, wrong, right, you're never going to get the outcome that that you want, right? But there is a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it, right? But the beautiful thing about organic marketing on Facebook, which if you remember back to my podcast, I talked about like 5 years ago, I kind of like fell into this thing, and since then we've kind of refined the system. So because of that, right, I realized that this is the easiest way to make money online, right? To build your business online is the easiest way, right? It's not a complex funnel. It is not a huge thing where you have to just, build out something crazy complex. It's like, look, if you need cash today or tomorrow, or you need clients this week and you want a calendar full for the next couple weeks, right? This is the easiest way to go about doing it, right? The problem is that a lot of people, when they start this process, they get tired of it. They grow tired of it, right? Because it is some arduous, manual, laborious work that most people don't necessarily want to do, which is why we actually built our software, Pepper, that we'll cover in a little bit, that actually takes away and automates all of the hard work too, as well. So I'll show you it all, and it'll be really, really cool. But first, let's jump into the actual system. Yeah,
Let's do it, dude. I can't wait.
cool.
Kind of want to not share this with people and just keep it for myself.
So let me share my screen here. This is a little bit. I'll give you a dose of the presentation I did for all of like our customers that are using Pepper right now. But tell me if you can see that.
Yeah, I can see it. Perfect.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So this is why I call it the easiest, way to make money online in the world, right? It's because there's really 4 key steps. Okay. So the first is, you find your audience, right? Just like any congregation online, you want to find the right people that you're actually looking for to be connected with, because audience matters, right? And the easiest way to do that in Facebook is that Facebook compiled these really awesome, really neat Facebook groups where all of these people come together that have a common denominator that say, I want to hang on this. I want to learn about this thing, or this is a hobby or recreation of mine, and I'm going to hang out in this group with my peers, right? Now, if you have a product or service that actually services these types of people, well, this, like, Facebook already did the hard work for you in compiling all that stuff together, right? All those people together. If you try to do this with paid ads on Facebook, you'd have to spend thousands of dollars to put your products and services in front of the right people, right? So Facebook compiles them differently. One on paid traffic, that they know exactly who those people are. And one, which I think is a little bit more powerful, is these people see the group and they're like, I know what this group is about and I want to be a part of it and actually enter into that group. And that's what we're fishing out of. Okay. Does that make sense?
I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
I never thought of it that way. It's really intriguing. It makes sense though, because they're purposely joining groups that they're interested in. And if you go to those groups, you can expect that those people are intentionally.
Exactly.
That's cool.
Exactly. So it's the highest quality leads you can find. So then over here, the next step is to connect with them, right? And just like you mentioned, right, sending them friend request. Okay. So we want to be friends with them. So you see, like, these are the people in orange are the people that we want to, that we know are actually going to buy our services and stuff like that. And we want to make sure that out of this whole group of people, now I have like 20 people here. There could be 20,000 in a group, right? We want to make sure that we're pulling out the 1, 2, 5, 10%, 50% of the people that actually would be interested and willing and ready and able to buy what you have to offer. So we want to make sure that we're connecting with those people. That is a little bit of a manual process. However, we have a software that automates that process for you. But then you want to make sure that once we find these right people inside of this Facebook group, that we actually become friends with them. Okay. Now, why do we want to become friends with them? Because we want them to see our content, right? The beautiful thing about organic marketing, right, is like if I wanted to put a piece of content out in front of thousands of people, I would have to pay Facebook or somebody a lot of money to be able to do that. With Facebook, right, they want the connection, right? So they're really helping you, especially off of your personal profile. They're really helping you with your personal content get out there into the world and to the right people, and they're showing your content to these people who are friends of yours. Now, if you just shift that content from here's my cat to hey, this is how I can help you achieve an outcome that you desire, now people are interested in what you want, and what you have to offer, right?
So that's why building your audience on Facebook should be done this way not just expecting random people to follow you using hashtags and doing it like the Instagram
Oh
way.
yeah, 100%. I don't think I've used a hashtag in 5 years, and we've made millions of dollars off of my Facebook profile. So I don't think I've ever used a
So
hashtag in
if
particular.
anyone comes, okay, if anyone comes to you is like, I want to build my Facebook out, it's not about like
Now, bear in mind,
hashtagging and like, it's about extracting people from groups so you can make sure people that your friends are potential clients.
so it really depends on what your outcome is, right? If you're into vanity metrics and you want to have 100,000 likes or 100,000 followers, whatever the case is, do the hashtags. That's not how I do it, right? But if you're looking to make money, right, this is how you make money.
Got it. Cool.
Right.
Clear.
So, so this is right here is the friends that we want to be connected with, because I know that when they become friends with me, Facebook is going to push my content that I push out into their newsfeed. And so now I can push buttons and pull levers inside of their brain, influence them to say, hey, you should be thinking along these patterns. You should think this way about this topic. Here's my offer. Here's my solution. Here's my product or service that can help you achieve an outcome that you want. Right.
Yeah.
So that's the second step, is just connecting with the right people. Okay. So, and this is a trustworthy saying: if you can get the right offer in front of the right person with the right message at the right time, you never have to worry about money ever again. Okay. So right person, right offer in front of the right person with the right message at the right time. That's why it's important for us to be friends with them, because without this piece, we can't put our content, our offer, our message in front of the right people. Okay.
Got it.
And then, and also Facebook has a limit. We're talking about our personal profile right now. So Facebook has a limit to how many people you can have as friends, which is currently at 5,000, right? So imagine you have 5,000 of what we call your ICA, your ideal customer avatar, right? The dream client that you want to work with. The dream client that you want to work with typically pays you $30,000, right? At least that's in our case. Okay. So imagine if we had just 10% of the 5,000 friends that I'm with that are my dream clients. That's 500 people pay me $30,000. Okay, just simple math right here. 5,000 times, I'm sorry, not it's 500 times 30,000, right? And we are at $15 million, right? Off of your Facebook profile. Okay.
That's stupid.
Now I haven't gotten there yet. Okay. But that just goes to show you, right? Even 1% or 2% of the people on your friends list pay you, a high ticket price like that. Well, I mean, you're kind of golden, right? So that's why it's super
You're talking
important.
up front too.
Say it again.
Are you talking up front or like lifetime value?
In my particular case, is lifetime value. We don't tell people to pay $30,000 up front.
Got it. It's still amazing.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy, right? So yeah, we are on our way there, right?
Yeah.
So the third piece, right, is once we know that we have the right people that we're connected with, now we want to start a conversation with them, right? And content is, I mean, you really are hitting them from two different angles, right? So your content that you put on your personal profile is one-to-many content, right? In that you're speaking to your whole entire audience. And then when you have one-on-one conversations inside of the DMs, right, that's where you can actually build that reputation. When you put out the content consistently, you're building authority and credibility and your celebrity status and everything like that in the eyes of the people that follow you because of the many inputs you're giving them. But when you change that conversation from one-to-many to one-to-one in a DM, then it's like, wow, now I'm going to fall in love with you, right? Because you took the time out of your day. You're a big deal, and you took the time out of your day to speak to me, right?
It's like I'm actually talking to Franco. All the content I've been seeing.
Actually talking to Franco. Is this really Franco? Is this really Franco, or is this someone on your team? Right? That's the feeling that people get, right? So it's really pretty powerful. So we start the conversation with them, right? Yeah. And then if all goes well in the conversation, then we navigate them, and I'll show you exactly how to make sure that all goes well in the conversation. But we'll navigate the conversation to jumping on a Zoom call, right, where you can sell them your product or service or demo or whatever it is that you offer, right? So it's these 4 points that have allowed us to make millions off of our Facebook profile, and we've kind of refined every step of the process and built a solution to automate the hard working part.
Wow! So you can automate it up to the point you have to get on a Zoom call.
Exactly, unless you want unless you want like a virtual assistant or a cyber assistant, self.
Which is still I mean, which is still difficult to manage because you have to train them and figure out what that
Yeah,
process looks like when you could just
exactly.
get
Now,
a
again, that's
with
selling high
software.
ticket, but if you're selling a product or service and you can sell somebody like under $100 or $300 or something like that through a funnel, you can sell that all day long
Wow.
just in chat. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Well,
Yeah. So does that part make?
that targeting piece for sure was I'm still
Yeah,
thinking about that. I never really thought of it that way.
yeah. So what I'd like to do now is kind of break apart each of these individual elements and kind of give you some tips and tricks on how you can get started with organic marketing, so you can have the best chance of making a lot of money for yourself.
Cool.
Sound good?
Let's do it.
So the first thing that I always like to do is start with some metrics. Okay, so you have to understand what your goal is before we can say like, what are the things you're doing to actually achieve your goals, right? So in this funnel, if we break down the individual pieces, it comes down to these 5 different metrics that you want to measure. Okay. Now these are stretch goals for you. Okay. But these are like our actual goals that we've actually hit in our business. Okay. So you see here, this is what we call a money flowing river. Okay. If any of one of these, just imagine these lines right here. You can see my cursor when I do this, right?
Yeah, I can see it.
So imagine each of these are like dams in your money flowing river, where
Oh.
if this is not if this is not working, right, then the money is not going to flow, right? And
Ah,
so your goal is to break down the dams in the money flowing river, right? And which what essentially that means is raising these rates as high as possible.
got
Okay.
it.
So, Pepper in particular, right? What we do is we actually send out 50 friend requests a day. Okay.
And Pepper is your automated system you use
Correct.
to
Yep. This is
generate
our
these on-demand
software.
clients.
Exactly. So this is our software that, pretty much like automates most of this process for you and really
Okay,
helps you speak to a lot of the right people so that you can get them on sales calls.
sweet.
So over here, right, the first thing that we need to do, right, is because we're making asks, right? We're making asks of human beings, and
Mm.
we want to make sure that we set ourselves up for success. So the first thing that we're doing is we're sending them a friend request. Well, I can't control that, right? I can't control whether or not they say yes. To an extent, I can, right? But I know what I can control is the amount of friend requests I send a day. Now, just imagine if you were sitting at your computer having to do, you know what, Franco told me to send out 50 friend requests a day, and you would take 15 to 30 minutes every single day without fail to go through and look for in these Facebook groups of 10,000, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, 100,000 members and look for the right people to send a friend request to. That would be so time consuming that no matter how much money you make, you would probably not do it. Right? Which is
Totally.
exactly what ended up happening to me and how I built the software in the first place. So Pepper, with one click of a button, will automatically send out 50 friend requests a day to the right people. Okay, so she will automatically fish for you in those Facebook groups and pull out the people in orange,
And
the
you can
people
like put
who
that criteria in, so you already so it'll say like well, you can set the targeting metrics in there.
you can set the targeting metrics with Pepper, and then we can actually go in and find in this Facebook group who are the right people that I actually want to connect with that are most likely to buy what I have to offer.
Ooh.
Yeah. So so
Okay.
we have so we're setting up 50. Oh, did I break up or
No, no, no. You're good. You're
okay.
good. I'm just thinking of the possibilities of like
Yeah.
everyone listening and their heads going like, oh my God,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
need this. I need
yeah.
to set this up.
So we're sending out 50 friend requests a day, right?
Okay.
All you got to do is click one button a day, okay? And then Pepper does the rest. Well, from those 50 friend requests, right? Our goal is to hit like DBM, Dream Big Media. Our goal is to hit 50% acceptance rate. Okay. Now, that's what we call our friend request acceptance rate. Okay. Now we want to get 50%. That means that out of the 1,500 people that we actually sent a friend request to, 50% of them said yes. That means they checked out our profile, right? They said, you know what? I am okay with being friends with you. That's what we call leads. Okay. So we have 750 leads now. All right. Now, from the 750 leads, what do we have to do? We have to, so people, we're here at this step right now. People connected with us. Okay.
Huh?
We sent our 1500 friend requests, right? And this is over the course of a month, right? By the way. So this is over the course of a month. 50 times 30 is 1500. Okay. And so over here, I hope I did that math right. I don't know if I did that math right, but but you get the point.
We'll just
Okay,
take your
so
word for it.
yeah. So over here, someone's gonna watch this video and be like, "Yeah, dude, that doesn't add up."
Dude, I made a TikTok video the other day, and I said if you
You know
make
what we're
two
gonna do?
sales at 600 in the
Yeah,
month,
well, because we're talking
it'll be
about goals and metrics and stuff like that, right? So yes, you see, I am right. So yeah,
dude,
that just shows you that I'm bad at math, right?
I know.
So in any case, right? So we're here at this stage. All these friends actually accepted your friend request. Okay, now we have to start the conversation with them. So from here at this point, we have all these leads, 750 leads in 1 month that we accumulated with Pepper, and we want to make sure that we're starting a conversation with them. Well, just because we send them a message doesn't necessarily mean, right, that they care about us enough to respond. Okay. So what we're aiming for is we want 50% of the people that we send a message to actually respond, right? Positively, not tell us to, go somewhere, right?
Sure.
So we call these chats started. Okay. So 50% of 750 gives us 375, right? That's our response rate. We want our response rate to be at least 50%. Okay. And then out of the 375 people that we're now in one-on-one conversation with, I want to be able to book 30% of them. Okay. Why do I want 30%? Seems like a large number. Why? It's because I know, one, they are super high quality leads. I know these are the right people. Secondly, these are the people that have at least engaged and like not rejected me outright and saying, no, I don't want anything to do with you. And then three, these are people that are generous and kind enough to have responded to me, right? Or interested enough to have responded to me and had a conversation. I feel like if you give me 10 business owners that I know I can help, I can get 3 on a call, right? So, and plus we've refined this process, right? So this is our book call rate. Out of the 375 people that we're speaking to in this particular month, we're going to get 112 calls booked, okay? Now, if we have 112 calls booked, right, not everyone is going to show up. We get 90% show up rate. So let's just say we're going to go to 100, right? And out of the 100 people that we have, we're going to close. Our goal is to close at 50%, get a conversion rate of 50 sales in the month, right?
And these are actual numbers.
So these are our goals. We ended up getting 45 clients, I think it was. So one of these things were off and stuff like that, right? But we ended up getting 45 clients in a single month. I think it was back in actually at the end of last year. Right? So yeah, these are the goals that we actually want to hit with this process. Okay. But do we always hit them? No. Okay.
Sure.
So these are the standards of, for sure, this is what we're going to hit. Okay. So those are our stretch goals, right? And these are the standards, and you can see the conversion rates differ and change, and you can see the difference as a result, right? So we still have 1,500, but instead of getting a 50% friend request acceptance rate, we have a 40% friend request acceptance rate, which gives you 600 leads instead of 750, right? If you only get a 30% response rate instead of the 50 that we're hoping for, right, then you can see how the numbers change. We have 180 chats started. Still though, 180 conversations with, like a software that you click 2 buttons for a day. To have 180 actual leads in there, right? If you're terrible at what you do and you only get 20% of them, you're going to book 36 calls that day. By contrast, with Pepper, by the way, there's 3 different tiers. There's a $97 a month package. There's a $149 a month package, and there's a $249 a month package for Pepper Infinity, which I highly recommend. But even if you went with the highest package at $249 a month, what platform could you pay $249 a month to get 36 booked calls?
Dude, I feel like you can't even get leads that cheap if they're
like, exactly. 100%. 100%, right? Like you can't even, you see, like in at least the industry that I'm in, a good range is between $50 to about $300 for a booked appointment, for one booked appointment.
That's insane.
And you're paying $249, and you don't even need Pepper Infinity to still do this. You can just get Pepper Basic at $97 a month, right? So we even get those are just extra features that really help you. But in any case, these are the standards that we really want to hit. So we get 36 calls booked, 80% of them show up. Let's say that means that you had 28 sales calls, you make an offer, and you close 30% of them, right?
Yeah.
Meaning you got 8 new clients that particular month, and then just do the math. How much do you charge, for a client? Right? And then off of $250 a month, $250, you made how much money? You just can do your own math there.
8 times, 1,000 or whatever, it doesn't really matter. But just briefly before you continue, like this is not even like a sales rep. This to me, if someone's just joining or listening, you think this is like a sales rep metrics. Like the sales rep did 1,500 calls, got 600 lead. Like this is Facebook automation, organic marketing we're talking about, which seems like crazy that you can make predictable numbers this way.
Yes, exactly. Right. And then you just do this month in, month out, right? And it's pretty cool. And this doesn't even take into account your follow-up system. What about all those people in the last month that didn't close or are still in the pipeline? You know what I mean? These are fresh new leads every single month.
This is just like
not even taking into account the follow-up system. Exactly. Right. So it's kind of crazy. And that's why, we've had over 3,000 entrepreneurs using Pepper to grow their businesses to 6 and 7 figures. And kind of why I am, gung ho about organic marketing and about this whole process, because it just works. It's really, really good. Does that make sense?
That makes total sense. The cool thing about that is it's really sealed tightly. There's no like leakage that's apparent where like, well, what about this? What about that? The way you explain on how you target and how you automate and the way it's almost like your friends is your nurture basket. The nurture basket then turns into just like a conversation. They're already you already built your credibility to where they're going to listen to you. And when you go, we should really chat about this, you get them on a call and you just able to pull these friends into sales calls. And it just seems like
easy, right?
Easy.
It seems like it. It seems like
it seems a little too easy because
it shouldn't be this easy. Yeah.
Because on the ad side of things, it's way more difficult to do the same exact thing. To make sure, you got to pay $1,500 a month just to find the right audience. Then you got to refine it. And then your offer is starting to work. Then you got to follow up with the leads. And so it's still quite manual, but this just seems like ridiculous, especially when you're like, you get this going in, if you want to get money in a day or a week or short term, this is the way to do it.
This is the process 100%. Right. So like, if this is the goals, right, if this is what we're looking for, right, then the question becomes, okay, well, if I know my goal and I want to make however many clients a month you want to make, right?
Yeah.
You'd say, okay, these are the only 5 numbers that I have to worry about. So then the question becomes, well, how do I make sure that I increase my friend request acceptance rate? How do I do that? How do I increase my response rate? How do I increase my booked call rate? How do I increase my show up rate? How do I increase my conversion rate? Right. And on this call, what I'm going to do for you guys, and just quickly, because I could go into crazy amounts of depth, right? Like we've had 5 years of experience doing this and like perfecting this craft, right? So I'm going to just do lightning speed our process and give you some really helpful tips on how you can increase these rates so you can get this process to work for you, right? Because at the end of the day, it's not about clicking the buttons. It's about all the other things that make this process work. And if I can train you up on that today, then you're going to have a great chance of being successful with this. And many of our clients, we actually give a 14-day free trial to Pepper. And so many of our clients get clients and pay for Pepper for years, even before their 14-day free trial is over.
That's ridiculous. Also, it's cool that you're able to do that quickly.
Yeah.
I just know, even when I was doing this stuff with LinkedIn, I would had to say, you got to give it a few weeks, because you got to give it enough time for the message to be sent, then for people to respond. So like, I'm like itching to see what you're going to show us, because if you're able to streamline that by weeks,
Absolutely, absolutely. So what I want to do for you right now, can you still see my screen when I pull up Facebook here?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, excellent. So the first question that comes up is how do you actually find the right Facebook groups? Okay, and there's really four different key things that you want to look at before you find, when you're selecting, like, because that's the first step, right? The first step is finding those groups of where these leads are actually, going, right? So you're going to be looking for a keyword name. So in this particular case, right, what would a keyword name? So like we can pick like an imaginary. Let's assume that you're a marketing agency, right?
Yeah,
And you service roofers, okay? And so
sure.
you service roofing contractors, okay? So you're just gonna type in roofing, right, into the search bar here on Facebook. Scroll all the way down to groups, or where's groups?
I don't know.
Let's
I don't
find that.
see groups.
Yeah, that's the weirdest thing. Don't worry, groups are still a thing. That
It's
would
like
be a problem.
it's
Like
like
I
that
don't
was
know.
their
So
that was Facebook's major update. They got rid of groups.
if they got rid of groups, that'd be hilarious. Hold on one second, because I'm just gonna
Where
check.
are groups?
Yeah, where are groups? Or maybe they change it. Oh, over here, communities. They're calling it communities. Your feed discover.
Oh,
Search communities. Okay, so that's what happened, right? So that's actually a bigger thing, by the way. That means that they're getting even more, doubling down on Facebook groups just to show you, right? So now that they're taking it away, they're making it more prominent here, right? So you can search communities and you can put in roofers, right?
okay.
And now you can search in all these communities, right? That are going to come up. Okay, see all, and you have all these, groups, okay, that just never, you see how this thing just keeps scrolling forever, right? All these groups where these roofers are in, right? So Roofing Masters Network, you ask yourself, okay, there's 5,200 people up there. How many of those 5,200 people are actual roofing contractors, right? Like
How do you
probably a good amount, right?
probably?
So this group designed to be an open forum to open discussion relating to the roofing industry. I know chances are the people in this group are going to be related to the roofing industry, and a portion of those people in the roofing industry are going to be the actual people that I can service. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah. Can you also
Same thing.
verify a bit to like jump in quick? You don't have to necessarily do that now, but jump in
Yeah.
quick and just see if like the what they're posting is like, oh,
That's
only
the,
an expert would
that's the
know that.
second step. That's the second step, exactly. So the first thing you want to do is like roofing contractors online, 8,000 members. Okay, so public community, right? Roofing contractors online. Okay, so I mean roofing, roofers, contractors, right? So first thing you're looking for are the actual keywords, right? So if I am a marketing agency that services roofers, and I am one of the few people that know about Pepper, I just came across, just by typing roofers and communities, I just came across an absolute gold mine, because I know I'm going to be able to fish in this 52,000 members. And if I got 100 clients, how much do I charge? $5,000 a month, $3,000 a month, right? Just 100 clients from this one group, right? It's
Wow.
like you might break a new record this month, right?
Yeah.
So the keyword name, right? So you're gonna ask yourself those questions, like, one, would your dream clients actually join this group? If you were your dream client, if you were a roofer, would you join this group, right? And if the
Yeah.
answer to that is yes, join the group, right? And the more specific the name is, right, the better the group is, right?
Got it.
So Commercial Roofers Unite, cool. Well, that's different than residential roofers, right? I
Mm,
know the commercial roofers have big projects, right? They have a
yes.
big marketing budget, whereas instead of the mom and pop, roofing
Oh,
company,
sure.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. The mom and pop roofer is
Same.
just like, yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
All right. So the second thing is engagement of the group. Okay. So the more engaged the group is, the better they are.
Would
Okay.
you
So
actually
you want,
join the group?
yeah, of course, you would join the group. So if I were to
Got it.
join the group, okay, remember, Facebook works off of your personal profile, not your business page. Okay. So you want to join the group as your personal profile. Okay. So I click join the group, right? And some of them have questions, right? And it depends on your ethics or whatever the case is. But if I know that those are my people in there, then I'm going to say whatever they want to hear to be able to get in, right?
Well, I mean, we're trying to scale a business here, so of course.
Exactly. So that's the thing. Okay. The third thing you want to do in searching for roofers, right, is not roofers, but searching for your dream clients, is think of software. Even you want to think out of the box. Think of software that your industry might use regularly, right? That allows them to do what they do, right? Because only the people that would be in a group like that around a software that's specific to that industry
Yeah.
would be those people. You see what I'm saying, right? So you want to think out of the box here, right? Or maybe there's a group around a mega influencer, right, in that
Mm.
industry. Okay, these are the people my roofing contractors listen to. This is a podcast they're associated
Ah.
with. This is a book that they read, right?
Even
You know
further
what I
could
mean?
be like the go-to roofing brand for tools and hammers. I don't know.
Exactly right. Right.
Yeah.
So that's an example of that. And so you want to just search in here and see what you can find. And it's just, you take a minute and look for 5 to 7, of the best roofing communities that you can find by looking at the engagement, looking at how people are posting, looking at if there's a ton of spam in there, if it's really not moderated, you want to you want to get away from those.
Right.
Like and different things like that, right? You want to see people asking real questions in this community and people actually jumping in the comments and providing real value, and we're just having conversations, discussions, debates in these communities. That's how you know you're in the right place.
Yeah.
Okay.
More members is not better. You want really like what the
Not
content
necessarily.
is
Yeah,
providing and
what we're
what.
looking for is because even if you had 2,000 members on it, you can make more money off of a group with 2,000 members on it than you could with 150,000 of the terrible people, right? The
Yeah.
audience. Okay. So then the next step is, okay, cool. Now we found our groups that we're going to be fishing in. Excellent. We have 5 to 7 of them. The next step is, how do we actually get people to accept our friend requests? Okay, because the way that Pepper works, I'll show you an example, right? So if I open up Messenger right here, I can show you that. Sorry, my wife is distracting. We're building a new house, so
Oh yeah, I remember you told me that. That looks good.
yeah. So here it is. Here it is.
Nice.
But what was I saying? Right? Oh yeah. So look where I have to go to see my filtered messages. I have to click on this, and your phone is the same thing. I have to go to message requests, right? And then people you may know, and then spam. If you end up in spam,
Mm,
right? Like, you see what I'm saying? All these
yeah.
people that I've reached, like, I never even responded to this person. This person messaged me 4 weeks ago, right? And even no matter how much something is look at this, right? 24 weeks ago, I would never have seen this, right? Look at that. Tell me about your offer. Look at that. I'm missing stuff here. You see what
Oh
I'm
my
saying, right?
God.
Like, there's so many people in, or even in the you may know section, right? Like 11 weeks ago, 25 weeks ago, and all these different things, right? So anyway, people don't check this, right? People don't check that. People check
Right.
this. They get a message here. This is what they check. This is the inbox, and that's where you want to be. Okay.
Plus, if you're in the spam, like you just like, why don't I want to check it because they're in spam? They're probably selling me something.
Exactly. And trust me, I've checked my spam before. You don't want to do that. Okay. So, so anyway, so that's why it's important for somebody to accept your friend request, because when you guys are friends, then any message you send to them will automatically appear here. And that's exactly where you want it. You don't want it to go to the message request area. Okay.
Got it.
So how do we get people to accept our friend requests, right? Well, if we go back to Facebook, there's a couple of key things that you want to do. Okay. So one of the first things you want to do is optimize your cover photo, right? So that when somebody comes here, they get a glimpse, right? There was a point in time where I didn't know who Tony Robbins was. You know who Tony Robbins is?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who doesn't know who Tony Robbins
Who
is? Well,
doesn't?
I didn't, right? I did at one point. Somebody told me about Tony Robbins. I kept hearing his name, whatever the case is. I finally Googled him. It took me all about 3 seconds for me to realize, oh, he's a pretty big deal. I should probably know about him, right?
Yeah.
It took me like 3 seconds to do that, right? Well, people have a initial first impression when they come across your profile, right? And so what we want to do when they come across your profile is you want them to have the right first impression. You don't get a second chance to make a first impression, right? So we want to make sure that I'm optimizing this. Well, when somebody comes here, what are they saying, right? They're saying like, oh, I have a beautiful looking wife. That's awesome, right? I got my
Course.
signature here, like it matters, right? I
Ooh.
have a team of people that are like cheering with me, having fun, all smiling, and who's in the front? Me, right? That means that if you stand on my side, if you're with me, if you join me, if you're hanging out and stuff like that, you're gonna be having fun. You're gonna be good, right? And then what
Right.
am I talking about? How's my messaging dialed in, right? Learn how to grow your marketing agency to 7 figures. Okay. Well, okay, cool. That's exactly, like, now I know what Franco does, right?
Just instantly. And then the way
Inst-
you set it up sort of builds trust and credibility. And like, this guy's a big deal because
exactly.
the image isn't pixelated.
And it's attractive.
It's
Attractive
attractive.
to the eyes, you know what I mean? The eyes lead there, right? It's just like, okay, cool. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool, right? And my face is approachable, right? I'm
Yes.
approachable. Okay.
You have an approachable face. I agree.
Thank you.
Dude,
Appreciate
it's
that.
basically don't put a stock image of a landscape.
Word. Yes,
Yeah.
100%, right?
Okay.
Now, I'm going to give you some extra advice that I haven't done here yet, unfortunately. So it sounds a little bit hypocritical, and I don't think Facebook allows me to go back to show you what I mean anymore. But it might be there. Yes, it is. Okay. So this is a lot of wasted space for most people, right?
Oh.
So they don't put a description. I put a story. What's up? I'm Franco. Good to meet you. This is what I do. Blah, 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 blah. Here's what I can do. Here's how I can help you, and all these different things, right? And so if somebody is reading this whole entire thing, right, chances are, right, they're like, okay, cool. Now I have a good answer. Because the first thing you want to do when somebody comes to your world, the very first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that they know what you do and who you serve, right? So
Got it.
those two things, what you do and who you serve, right? So here you get a clear understanding. If you want to take the time to do it, you get a clear understanding of who I am and what I do, right? And who I serve. The second thing is, and now this is definitely not, and I wonder if, yeah, I can go back here, right? So I'll show you an example, okay? So this is something I would model, okay? So here is like, for instance, my face, again, smiling, happy, right? Like I want people to feel good when they
Approachable.
come. Exactly. And also, I even put this in Photoshop, and all I did was increase the contrast, right? So the colors pop. Okay. So
Mm.
now it stands out from other pictures and stuff like that, right? I
Yeah.
don't even think this is a shirt, to be honest with you, that I'm wearing. I think this is like a more like off-white shirt or something like that, right? I don't know.
Funny. It's like that thing. Is it
But you
pink
get,
or blue? That dress, you know?
yeah, yeah,
That's
exactly.
funny.
So the colors pop, right? And it's just like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. This is a nice high quality picture, right? And some people put their pictures in, like when you open them full screen, it takes up this much space. You can see my cursor, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it takes up like this much space. It's not a high def picture, right?
No.
So you want to make sure that we do have a high def picture because I mean, this is your business, right? Like your face is your God given logo. Okay, like that's what I want you to understand. Your face is your God given logo. People remember faces more than they do names, right? More than they do
Mm.
brands, more than they do
Logos
all that
or
stuff. They remember your face. Okay,
yeah.
and so get your face out there and visible. Okay, and over here you can see here I put some copy right here, right? It says, I grew up as a kid living in Queens, New York. I remember coming home one night with my mom and dad, sister and brother, just something just absolutely disgusting. It must have been like 10 p.m. or something. We opened the door, turn on the lights, and there's our dog Bruno with a dead rat in his mouth, chewing it up into pieces.
Oh my God.
I remember one time living in the same apartment. I woke up in the middle of the night and went to the kitchen to grab a drink of water, and I turned. Who's not going to click to see more?
I'm like, I want to know.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
yeah.
Everyone's gonna click to see more. And so if you look at these comments, you can see here, get out. I live in Forest Hills, Queens. Does she say this because of my face? Does she say this because of my background?
Probably
No,
just all of it
she's saying this.
together.
She's saying this. I live in Forest Hills, Queens, because she read it,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So many people don't put anything in the description here, right? And this guy put fire. Is he putting the fire emojis because of my face? No, right? Legend. That's an incredible story, man. Is my face telling a story? No, right? Absolutely love this. It is a privilege to be related to. How does someone go to? It is a privilege to be related to you, right? And she's just through my wife, actually. God
Oh,
bless you and your beautiful family. Does she say that because I put up a nice picture of myself? No. Everyone read this, right? Like, you can see this, right? Love this story. Your dad is definitely a hero. Is that because of my face? No, right? Such an impactful story, man, et cetera, right?
so you
It's
need to focus. You need to
because,
focus on. See, this is the thing. I think long people are like against long form because they don't understand. Long form is actually better because if you write a good story, which is really the main thing that you should focus on, you want the people to read it, and you don't want the people who won't read it.
yes, exactly.
Mm,
Exactly.
okay.
Right. And so this is a little bit of a, definitely long form copy, right? But you
Yeah.
see here, we transition over into, so somebody comes, they're meeting me for the very first time, right? Over here, it tells them what I do and who I serve. And on my Facebook profile, it tells them, right, who I am. And so
Mm.
now I built that know, like, and trust factor immediately,
Okay.
right?
This is really clarifying. I think for me and a lot of people, you're using your profile not necessarily selling anything. You're just trying to use it so the person psychologically feels like they now know you.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Right. And then as we continue on with the content that I'll post, right? So like here is an example. I honestly can't believe this is my life. Beyond blessed. Absolutely love what I do. These are some events that we ran in the past, right? And so this is a pinned post, right? And so
Huh?
here it's just like, let me make sure that I'm sharing sound as well.
Oh, you just have to turn the
So
sound button on. Yeah, yeah.
I trust you guys. Let's go, baby.
Let's go!
So here,
Okay, Logan.
people are dancing. People are like, right? And then here with Alex Hormozy,
investor and philanthropist. Bring you two bring you four bring you eight.
right?
Want to
And
stop
so
buying?
then
And
people
then
get to
Oh,
see
Hermosi.
like, yeah, exactly. People get to see like me immediately, just like, oh, okay, cool. This guy's a big deal. We've spent what, 2 minutes, together, right? Like so far, and then people can see client wins, about me, right? Some of the photos, me standing on stages and stuff like that, right? So now, when somebody comes to my page that have never heard of me ever at all before, just on this one platform, they're like, oh yeah, I know Franco. Yeah,
He's
he's a big
legit.
deal. Legit. Exactly.
Right.
And that's
Right.
what I want them to get. Okay. Because now when I go into the next section right here of, right, after we connect and make friends, okay, then we're going to go into chat. Well, let me ask you this, right? When somebody goes into this right here and they're like, hey, I'm a marketing agency and I struggle with, growing my marketing agency. I grew a marketing agency and stuff like that. This guy friend requested me. Well, that's not much of a big ask, right? So like, you know what? Maybe I let me just look at some of his content, right? It's just like, okay, cool. Well, you know what? Maybe I accept his friend request. That's how you could. What was the question? How do you increase your friend request acceptance rate? Okay. And so that's a quick understanding of how we do that. Okay.
Which is
Does that make
basically the
sense?
optimization of your profile, because they see it and it's like, this is not a sketchy profile. This guy's a legitimate person that he says he is. Why not?
Exactly.
Mm.
Exactly. Right. And this guy will actually add value to my life if I'm friends with him.
Add value to my life. Right.
Okay. So then we go to the next thing, which is over here is the chat. Okay. Now, when we're doing the chat, right, there's really like a 7-step process that I take people through. And I'm going to just really quickly give you the summary version of it all,
Sure,
right?
sure,
It's still going to be a ton of value for you. So over here, like this is something that, this is what I say is like a really big process, but this is right here. This is like what I don't know how many pages this is, to be honest with you, 51 pages, right? But this is for our setters and like all the different platforms that we have and everything like that, right? But really all you need is this section right here, okay? So I'm going to walk you through the setting scripts, okay? So the first thing you need to understand is we have what we teach is the art of messenger sales, okay? So art is an acronym right here. It just means acknowledge what they're saying, respond appropriately, and then transition back to your framework or your script. Okay. So what do we mean by acknowledge, right? So you say something to me, right? I got it. I got you. I hear you. I understand. I empathize with you, right? This is me receiving what you said. And then now I'm responding appropriately to what you said, right? What I don't want to do is open up a rabbit hole for us to go down. You see, when you're in a conversation with somebody, they're going to give you 1,000,001 off ramps to where you want to take them, right?
Yes.
They want to talk about this. They want to talk about this. They want to talk about this in their answering of your questions, getting them to one destination, which is essentially on a sales call. In their answering, they're going to open up all these cans of worms that are traps. If you jump into that can of worms, you are never getting back to the sales call, right?
Right.
So you want that you still hear them. You don't feel like you're not like casting them off and you say this is not important, this is not important, this is not important. You want them to feel heard, and so you have to make sure you're responding appropriately to them, but you always have to transition back.
Bring them back to
highway to the sales call. Exactly.
That is like the frayed rope. I think Jordan Belfort says it, or someone just says it. Like it's basically a rope, which is your framework, but they will put little frays out, and you might go up on the fray, but you have to come back to the main rope.
I love it. Exactly right. Yep.
Yeah. Cool.
I love it a lot. Okay, so then the next thing is right here. This is what we call the perfect messenger framework. There's 3 steps. Okay. Okay, intro, body, and the close. Okay, so the intro is this. It is that very first thing of starting the connection, the chat. Okay, so we say hi, right? So like we don't just say hi. Okay, the goal of the welcome message or the opener, right, is to get the prospect to positively respond. Okay, our goal is to turn an initial outreach into a conversation. Okay, so we call it chat started or conversation started when the prospect positively responds back. Okay. And so here's some tips to help you do that. All right. So again, most people, what they want to do is they want to jump from the first message they send out. That should be the last thing they say on a sales call. Right. And that's where people mess up. Right. They're saying something now to start the conversation that it should be the very last thing they say on a sales call in person. Right. And that's how they open up, and that's why they don't get the results.
Hey,
right?
you want me to, do this for you? It's like those emails you get. Hey, do you want to get this SEO package for $4.99? Here's my case studies.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Right. And we got to remember, right, that this isn't paid traffic. This is like organic marketing. You are speaking to another human being, right? So be natural, be normal, right? You don't go up to a bar and ask the girl that you want to like take out and marry one day, hey, will you marry me? No, you ask her to buy her a drink, right? Like that's the process. Okay. So so the goal of the welcome message, you have to remember every step in this funnel, okay, leads to the next step. Okay. The Facebook group and finding the right people in there leads to them accepting your friend request. Them accepting your friend request, the reason we do that is so that we can send them a chat, is so that they can see the content, is so that we can build up the authority and credibility that we need to be able to increase the rest of the response rates. Mm-hmm. And then the goal of this initial welcome message is simply to get them to respond back. Okay. Now, why? Because when people respond back to you, now they're a jerk if they all of a sudden you say something and then all of a sudden they just ghost you.
Yes.
Right? They're a jerk. But if they don't respond back to you, they don't owe you anything. They don't owe you anything. They're not even a jerk if they don't respond back to you, right? They don't owe you anything. But if you ask them a question and they responded back to you, now we're in a conversation. Like, I don't know, and Daniel, in the real world, like if somebody starts a conversation and says, hey, how's it going? How's your day going? Yeah, I did this too, blah, 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 blah. And then they just turn and walk away from you. Right, when does that happen? That doesn't happen, like, right? You see what I'm saying?
Who's that dude? Who is that guy?
Yeah, like what the heck, right? So all we have to do in this first message is get them to respond back, right? So the first thing is to be personable and friendly in your first message, okay? And when we say personable, the cool thing about Pepper is that she actually sends out a welcome message, the opener, on your behalf from your personal profile with your first name, with their first name. Right. Oh. So she will send out, like if I'm using Pepper right now, I could be in a workshop with you like this right now, and I can send a message to somebody on Facebook right now that says, hey, Thomas, hey, Grant, hey, John, blah, 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 whatever the question is, automatically, just by clicking a button.
Well, their name's public, so it just merges it.
Exactly. Yeah. So be personable and friendly in your first message. Establish common ground quickly. So try to find some area of, connection, right? Like, oh, we're both wearing the same jersey, right? Like that's important.
I was going to ask, it could be any type of anything, honestly, that's just personable and friendly. And
yeah, so what you want to do, again, the goal is to get them to respond back and stuff like that, right? But you don't want to be so far from your intention of starting the conversation in the first place that it takes such a jump over the chasm to get to the world of business, right? So you want to do something along the same lines of we're still playing the same ballpark, right? And then starting the conversations, right? We always remember they don't owe you anything, right? So you always want to prompt them with easy to answer questions, right? We call them either or questions, this or that. Okay. So, Daniel, hey, I see that you do contracting work. Do you only do roofing or do you also do siding?
Right. I don't have to think about it. I just choose one.
You don't have to think about that. You just choose one. I gave you option A or option B, right? Now I had to say, if I said, hey, Daniel, what's up? I see you're in the contractor world. How did you get into business?
I'd be like, oh my God, I don't want to
Now
respond to that. I have to like, that's like a paragraph.
Oh my gosh, bro. I don't
God.
owe you anything, Ghost.
This
Right?
is brilliant. I'm taking notes on this.
Good, I'm glad.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. That's the intro. That's it. We just want them to respond, right? And if you remember back to our metrics here, right? What are we looking to increase, right? So our friend request acceptance rate, we talked about that in the profile. This is the response rate. We want to get 50% of the people to respond, and that's with the welcome message that you send them. Okay?
Got it.
And also the content that you put out over here, right? They see you as a credible, person, right?
Either or questions, just briefly real quick, either or questions also, I feel like, lowers their resistance wall tremendously, because it's not like they have to think about how do I respond in the right way to be correct. I just choose. So I could see
Exactly.
it like lowers the resistance. That's really cool.
So good. Yeah, it's so good. So over here, so we want to ask an easy to answer question, right?
Okay.
Then we go into the body, right? And the goal of the body, right, is to get the right person on a sales call primed and ready to buy, right? That's the goal. So when you're in a conversation with somebody, you want to get them primed and ready to buy. So here are 7 questions that lead to a quality sales call. Okay. So I'm scrolling the wrong thing. So here are 7 questions that lead to a quality sales call, right?
Okay.
And they're under these categories here, right? Lead, goal, pain, interest, affordability, urgency, and ability. Okay. We're just going to quickly define them. So a lead is the very top person. Okay. We define a lead as someone who is the right person you should be talking to, right? So in that contractor example, the guy says, oh no, I actually work for this roofing company. No, I'm not a contractor, right? That's his response to us. We know that he's not a lead. Okay. Or if the guy says, yeah, I've been in business 17 years in the roofing industry, but we just opened up the siding, last year. Okay. Well, okay, cool. That is the right person I should be talking to. Right.
Got it.
So don't worry about these examples, because those are examples, for me and like what we do.
Sure.
So lead. Then the next step is goal. Okay. So goal is we want to make sure that this person actually wants to grow their business. Okay. So what is your solution or offer? Think through your own solution and offer and what you actually provide to the roofing contractors. If you are a marketing agency and you're providing this to roofing contractors, right? What is their desire? Some people are swamped with work, they're freaking stressed out, and they're like, no, we're gonna cap it. This is it. I don't want to grow. So when you come in with like, hey, I can grow your business, that's not a desire that they have, right? So we want to make sure that they actually have a goal, okay, of actually growing their business or achieving the outcome that you actually provide as either a coach, a consultant, a marketing agency, or your product, your service, whatever the case is.
Avoid the blanket statements of just abstract goals.
Exactly. And so we want to have that. The next thing is the pain, right? So in order to prime them to buy, you have to, in Messenger, get good at extracting the problems they're facing. Okay. With achieving that goal that we've already defined. Okay. And so, by the way, this is all in a chronological sequence. Okay. So this is why it looks like a funnel, is because we want to start here and then go down. Okay. And then interest, right? We have to make sure that this person actually has interest in the solution that we provide. In our case, it is coaching, right? So, or if you're a marketing agency and you're working with roofing contractors, right? Well, if you're telling them about SEO, right? Well, they freaking hate SEO, right? Like they want to grow their business, right? They have a lot of pain in trying to grow their business, stuff like that, right? And you're telling them about SEO and they're like, I need a new project tomorrow, right? Well, SEO isn't going to be the best bet, right? And if that's all you do, right, then you don't have an interest in the solution that you provide, okay? So that's the next thing we want to do, is make sure that they have an interest in the solution that you actually provide, okay? And then affordability, okay? So these first 4, lead, goal, pain, and interest, okay? This is what you would do to everyone regardless, okay, of how booked your calendar is, okay?
Got it.
But these last 3 you would only do if your calendar is already stacked and you want to be picky with the people that you jump on a call with. Okay?
Oh.
So these first 4, lead, goal, pain, and interest, you're going to ask of everybody, right? Mm-hmm. And then you're going to go straight to the close after interest. But if your calendar is stacked and it's jam-packed right now and you want to be picky with the type of people that you actually jump on a call with and you spend time with, then you're going to add in affordability, urgency, and ability, right? So let's talk through those now. Got it. So affordability, before you book the call, you want to know how much money they're making per month, right? Or revenue or financial or whatever it is. Can they afford? The idea is, can they afford your services? Okay.
Yes.
So knowing this is going to give you a good idea of whether or not they're going to be able to afford your services, or whether you should book the call at all. Okay. The other thing is urgency, right? So before you book the call, you want to learn if it's a now thing or a later thing, right? When are they looking to solve their problems and hit their goals? Okay. Because it's when you get the right offer, if they're interested in it, in the right person, we talked about the lead, okay?
Yeah.
With the right message, extracting the goal and pain, okay? At the right time. Okay, that's urgency, right? When is this going to be a thing that they're going to be actually actively looking to solve? And then ability, right? Figure out if there are any other decision makers that need to be on the call. So you want to make sure to try and book a call with all decision makers that need to be present to make a decision on the call. Okay, so we're only again asking these if our calendar is full. If our calendar is not full, then don't even. Okay.
Right, because you want to just talk to everybody essentially and then just see where it takes from there. But if you have a jam-packed calendar, you need to be careful where you delegate your time. So you have to ask these qualifying questions to even jump on the call.
Exactly right.
Okay.
So these are some easy questions to ask yourself. If you don't have this framework, if you didn't take your screenshots and everything like that, right? This is what you can ask yourself. Navigating conversation. We started off a conversation with somebody as the right lead, and then we are going to ask ourselves this questions, right? So, do they want to grow their business? Where do they want to get to? What's the problem of getting there? Are they open to your solution to help them? Can they afford your services? Are they ready to go? Can anything hold them back? Right? And those are the questions you're asking yourself. And then if you're asking, this is what we call a messenger framework. If you're asking yourself these questions, then what that means is you can easily, navigate the conversation using your own language, right? To answer these questions and still get them on the call. Okay.
Yeah. Clear, man. That is powerful.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. So the next thing we're gonna do, right? So what did we just do right here? We went to, we talked about our friend request acceptance rate. That was our social media profile optimization. We talked about the response rate. That is how we start the message in chat. Okay. And then we talked about the booked call rate, how we get people to actually book the call. Okay. Now we're going to talk about how to get them to show up. Okay. So this is right here, a very simple thing. I can't go through all of it and stuff like that, but this is how we get them to show up, right? So the goal of the close and booking the call is to get the primed and qualified prospect to show up to the sales call. So use current lead flow to determine when to send a prospect to a funnel or calendar link and when to book the call directly inside of Messenger. Okay. So if you have a low lead flow, then you want to just book calls directly in Messenger. You want to take away any barriers. So you're just going to say, hey, does Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern work for you? Right. And they're going to be like, no, it doesn't. How's 4? Right. Excellent. I'll send you a calendar invite. Okay. You're booking calls directly in Messenger. If you have a high lead flow, okay, and you really want to be specific with the type of people you jump on, then you can make them jump through hoops, right? So you can send prospects to a sales funnel or something like that where they could book on their own. Okay. So that's that. But to increase the show up rates on sales calls, you want to ask one simple question after the close, after you jump on, after you get them to commit to jumping on a call. Okay. So they say, yep, Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern sounds great. Then you respond, sweet. I got you locked in for Tuesday at 4 p.m. You always want to mention the time zone because now we live in a world where that matters. That matters a lot.
Yes.
Right? So sweet. I got you locked in for Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
Is there any reason why you wouldn't be able to make that call? That is the gold. Is there any reason why you wouldn't be able to make that call? People are very frivolous with their time. They'll just book whatever. If they're semi-interested, they'll just book whatever the case is, right? The more successful someone is, the less frivolous they are with their time and what they give their attention to, right? And so most people aren't, especially if you're looking to help them, aren't in that element yet, in that state yet. And so because of that, they'll just say, yeah, that works great. Okay, awesome. Hit me up then, right? Now, when we ask this question, now you're making them think, are you even actually available? Is there any reason why you wouldn't be able to make that call? What does that prompt them to do? Open up their calendar, right? And check. Oh, you know what? I'm supposed to pick up my daughter on Thursday.
Yeah,
right?
that would happen because they'll go, you got 5 minutes before the call and you get the email. Oh, I have to go pick my daughter. So it eliminates that.
Exactly. Right. Or you know what? That's a double booking. Actually, you know what? You're right. Or they might say, No, yeah, we should be good then, right? But either way, we're getting that out. Okay, cool. And so the idea here is that people don't want to be liars. So when they say no, I'll be there, they usually mean it, right? And asking this simple question directly after booking the call will drastically increase your show up rates. Okay?
Oh.
Is there any reason why you wouldn't be able to make that call? All right.
Screenshotted.
Screen yeah, screenshot it. So that's the show up rate, right? And on the conversion rate, that's a whole nother topic, probably outside of the scope of this conversation. But yeah, if you do
Yeah.
this and you use Pepper, you're going to be able to automate this entire process. So Daniel, do you have any questions? I know that this isn't a live thing. I'm sure people on watching the replay of this, wherever they are, might have some questions.
Yeah, I'm sure people are going to fill up the comments about like, oh, can you elaborate on that, Daniel? Can you make a video for that? So I'm sure there'll be tons of questions. Really, it's just, and I understand the sales part is more of like a sales side of things. So that's really expanded beyond this topic. But what I really got from this is the framework is simple, and it really showed me, and probably everyone else watching, that most likely you've been using Facebook incorrectly, and you've sort of written it off and thought that this is not the place to find clients because it doesn't have that organic upfront growth that I can measure easily. Like, I put an Instagram reel out and got 14,000 views, which doesn't translate to anything besides just views, but it's satisfying. So up to that point, I see the value and how simple this can be. And probably where my questions just come up is like, is it the way you set this up? Does it really eliminate all the random factors that happen, and it kind of confines these objections or whatever other problems I might have? There's no like unknowns. It basically confines it to where people will show up to the meetings more predictably. People are saying the same objections. Do you see how I'm going with this? Like,
Yeah.
are there any random unknowns that happen, or does this pretty confine it to just be scalable, predictable?
Well, yeah, no, I know what you're getting at. So the idea that we need to understand is like, when you have a super large complex type funnel, okay, and when something is not working, well, you have so many different levers that you're going to have to check to pull to see, okay, what did that do to the system, right? What did that do? Did that give me the end outcome that I was actually looking for, right? Like, and what levers can I actually pull, to play with this process to get this thing to work, okay? So the more levers and more buttons you add to a funnel like this, right? Of like from getting a cold stranger who doesn't know you into like on a sales call, so we can put money in your pocket, right? Like the more things you add to that process, the more unreliable the system becomes, okay? Because there's more things that can break, okay? And so what we want to do is we want to eliminate as much as we can, shorten the sales cycle as much as humanly possible, and it can't get any simpler than this. There's literally there's literally four different things, four different points of contact with the prospect for you to be able to get them or get your end outcome, which is them as a client or them as a new customer.
Got it. So that actually refines my question. So essentially you've simplified it so much that when you put someone through it, every single moment of that journey. So if someone falls off from a call or doesn't show up to a call or doesn't respond, you're able to pinpoint exactly what may need to be tweaked or why they didn't respond, or it's simple to manage. It's not like you have this complicated 8-page funnel and you're trying to like, or, a better example is just sending someone to a website, hoping they'll take action, but they just browse around and you're trying to figure out exactly where the disconnect is. So simplifying it really lets you hone it in
dramatically. Exactly. Increases dramatically. Like when your focus, anytime that you have a large complex system, your attention on making, and you're dedicated to making the system work, your attention gets divided. Your attention gets divided among all of its parts that make the system a whole, right? And so you have to, we've got 20 different things to look at, and so because of that, now it takes you 20 times as longer than, or 5 times as longer to actually get the thing to work than having something super simple like this, because now you can just be really excellent at each of these 4 things. And if you're really excellent at those 4 things, you're going to kill, you're going to crush it.
And you're basically just using over and over again your fundamentals that you've said before, that you say, if you just follow these 4 fundamentals, and you mentioned 2 other things, I think you said. What was it? The right offer and the right person, the right time, at the right moment, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. But applying that, you can basically, if you keep it simple and you apply the fundamentals, this could technically work for something beyond like a marketing agency, really any type of service.
Oh yeah. We don't just have marketing agencies. We have coaches, consultants, realtors, financial advisors, investment, investors, just all types of people, fitness professionals, gyms. Like we've partnered with a bunch of awesome people. Like you mentioned Alex Hormozi before. Like when you go into Gym Launch, one of the first things they teach you is Pepper, right? Because it's so powerful. So anyone that can get their clients off of Facebook groups can use Pepper to do so. That's
amazing. Well, dude, I was mind blown a few times during this whole thing. For sure, the 2 things which by the way, anyone listening, if you have any questions, just comment below. Let me know, and I'll send some response videos and stuff, maybe get some answers and get things figured out. But it was definitely the usage of Facebook, because I think a lot of people struggle with the idea that in order to target the right people, you have to pay for it via ads.
Yeah.
And if you want to target specifically, you have to do it manually. So this really just puts a bridge and kind of eliminates all the manual stuff and actually just goes more direct to consumer versus the ads. And the ads make things more complicated anyways. So you really have this like streamlined, very manageable and very optimizable solution that, again, just seems ridiculously easy. So where can people find you? And if they want to use Pepper, what do they need to do?
Yeah. So if you go to pepper4fb.com, you can check out Pepper. There's also a super in-depth training there. I'm sure in the description, Daniel, you'll be able to put a link somewhere down below this video or to the side or something like that. You'll be able to check out Pepper. You actually get a 14-day free trial with Pepper. I would highly recommend going for Pepper Infinity because in that time, in the 14 days, we even give you some tips and tricks on how to use Pepper most effectively to help you get the outcome and the results that you're looking for. Plus, we have 2 live Q&A Zoom calls a week for Pepper Infinity users that if you jump on that, we will literally help you with your Facebook profile optimization, your messenger scripts, your welcome messages and everything like that to make sure all of these different elements work for you so you can actually get clients within those 14 days and you can pay for Pepper for years, right? Ultimately, at the end of the day, our intention is to give you the best results possible so that we keep you as a customer for life, right? So that's why we do that. And you can find me on Facebook, right? You can find me on Facebook and just my name, Franco Urbias, and send me a friend request.
And then you'll pepper them up.
Yeah. Yeah. So, cool. But yeah.
Awesome. Man, thank you. Again, we have Franco
Urbias. You got it.
My kids were screaming. I don't know if you heard that. They screamed exactly when I said your name. Anyways, Franco Urbias, thank you so much for coming on of Pepper. Guys, again, if you want your free trial, just click the link below. If you have questions, put them below. And again, thanks so much.
Absolutely. See you guys.
See ya.